Christian Miller taking up that.
It's time for the Miller's Edge with New York Giants legend and South Carolina Hall of Famer Corey Miller and his son, four-time SEC champion and two-time national champion Christian Miller.
And knocked down again. It was Christian Miller.
Here is college football playoff national champion Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
And welcome into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope you guys had a great weekend, some college football on, some more preseason games on. Might dive a little bit into that, but we all know what time it is. You guys see the thumbnail on YouTube. You see what time it is. Chase, man, I heard there's something special coming up this weekend, man. What could that be?
I don't know. Is it a certain birthday? Is it a holiday? It must mean something to Alabama. I don't know.
I mean, it's probably as big as those, if not bigger. It, in fact, is week one of Alabama taking the field, traveling down to Tallahassee, facing the Seminoles. And Chase, and I tell you, man, I'm so excited to have football back officially. Like, football's been back. We've been talking about it. Training camp's been back. Preseason's been back. Hell, college football officially back this past weekend. Not sure how much of the games you caught. I saw some of them. Some decent games. The one in Dublin was actually a pretty good game. And then I don't know if you saw what happened after the game. I guess that involved like the quarterback's father and his brother. That was pretty. Did you see that video post game?
Christian, man, that was box office. I did not expect a father-son duo battling out after a game.
I feel like that's probably what people imagine me and my dad do when we get into it here on the show. They probably think we do that after we hang up the show. We just go scrap like that in the street, puddle of mud or water, whatever's going. I don't know, kind of crazy, but nonetheless, man, that actually was the game itself was pretty good. But anyway, that was just definitely very interesting. But plenty of football was watched this weekend. I know I watched Seattle play. Jalen Milroe got his first start. Kind of an up and down performance, a little reminiscent of some of the things we saw with him being here. But I'll say this, man, he shows some promise. He shows some upside, which you expect out of a guy with the tools that he has. But definitely, man, the turnovers, got to get that cleaned up. Now, to be fair, you do have to take all the factors into consideration. The guys that he had for him out there, the one just, the things we saw from him that looked reminiscent. It was also the offensive line play, not getting the help from some of the guys around him. But nonetheless, man, again, he scored his first touchdown in the game. That was awesome to see. Had some really nice throws. Had a couple things he needs to do better at. But I'll say this. What I took away from, his preseason Chase is that, look, man, he's improving. He's making some progress. I know people are going to say, how do you say that when he had same turnover issues, guys? Half of the botch snap, I have to go back and really look. But when he's dropping back and guys are in his face immediately, yes, he needs to protect the football. That is on him. But at the same time, can we finally acknowledge that the guys up front that are getting paid to protect him aren't doing their job? They got to be better, which they will be when he's actually in there with guys that aren't, probably, bubble guys, practice squad, or maybe not even, future NFL guys. So the reality is a lot of those players, if they don't make a practice squad, maybe UFL, maybe not, but a lot of guys will never play football again, which is kind of the sad reality of the final preseason game. While those guys get a lot of opportunities, it is the last time that some of them will put on their cleats. So anyway, but it was cool to see him get that action, man. I was like, gosh, man, I know he was frustrated. I think they showed an angle where he was coming off. You could tell he was a little upset, but man, he needs to hold his head high because he did a lot of good things, and there's a lot of things that he can build off of. And I'll be honest, just hearing his coaches talk about him, right, and how they appreciate his work ethic, everything he's doing to put into to be a good quarterback, man. I think he's going to be all right, man. I truly do. But I do believe, him having Sam Darnold, my former teammate, leading him, being able to learn from him, grow from everything he absorbs from being in that quarterback room with him. I think it's going to be very beneficial for him. And I think, you never know, man. A couple years down the road, man, we might be seeing a Jalen Milroe train that's just taking off, and it's hard to stop. But that was cool watching him and all the other countless Bama guys in the league. Definitely going to be keeping up with the roster updates. Again, a lot of guys being waived, being cut, being released, kind of part of this time of year. But we'll see who gets picked back up, who gets retained. I know a lot of people have lists and all that, so we definitely want to keep up with our former Bama guys, kind of see how those things play out. But a number of Bama guys did some really good stuff this preseason and are looking to have some very solid seasons this upcoming year. That being said, you guys know what we like to do on this show, right? We already said, look, week 1 is here. It's officially game week. And I've been thinking about this, Chase. I really want to almost mirror kind of what we do like in a real meeting room, right? And I'm going to try to do my best. Obviously, it's not going to be exactly like that. But what do I mean by that? Mondays was always our prep day, right? So what's today? It's Monday. So I spent this weekend, Chase. I've been watching tape. I've been looking at Florida State. Really, actually, it was funny is I've looked at a lot more tape from UCF and Nebraska than actually Florida State itself. But I've been breaking stuff down because why? That's what you have to do, right? You have to look to see what you're anticipating. And when you have new coordinators, that's what happens. Well, I've been doing my assessments, Chase. I've been gathering my ideas. And today I want to make it like an intro day, right? And then throughout the week, we'll continue to break down the game itself, expectations, kind of how we see it playing out, stuff like that. Obviously, I'll do a bunch of that today as well. But, Mondays for us, when we always were prepping, that's what it was. It was a prep day. We got to know the personnel. So we're going to pull up the depth chart. Florida State did release their first depth chart going into week 1. We'll take a look at that. I'll kind of highlight some guys that have caught my attention, some guys and some names that I think you guys should maybe take a look at or at least have in your mind. So we'll do that. We'll take a little bit of a preview at Florida State's offense, their defense, schematically, kind of what to expect, what we might see in this ball game, some matchups to look out for, and all that good stuff. And we'll keep on rolling. Always want to hear from you guys, 205-342-9904. I know you guys got plenty of questions, so we'll definitely get to that as well. Then, like I mentioned, throughout the week, we'll continue breaking things down. We'll ramp it up. And then finally, Friday comes, you know how it is. We're giving our predictions. We want to hear from you guys, get y'all's predictions, give our final outlook for the game. But throughout the week, we'll continue to let it marinate and really discuss it because I know you guys really like that type of content. Plus, since we do stream live on YouTube, shout out to everybody here on the YouTube channel. We will pull up clips and stuff like that we can take a look at. So for all our radio listeners, if you guys want to get in on that, you know where to find us. Check us out on YouTube at The Miller's Edge. It's real easy to find us. Make sure we only ask for one thing. Well, 2, I guess. Drop a like on the video, right? And subscribe. It's completely free. That helps us out. It helps us continue to grow because, again, we are a radio show, but we want to continue to build up this platform because we know you guys really enjoy it over here as well. So make sure you guys get in on the action. You can join the chat, interact with each other. We love listening to you guys in the chat, watching you guys, discuss things, get y'all's thoughts. You can ask questions right there, and we can discuss that here on the show as well. Plus, we will be getting some folks on here throughout the week talking about this matchup, talking Alabama football, and maybe have an interview or 2 lined up that you guys will be excited for. So make sure you guys are locked in and loaded. We're just getting started. Week 1, I'm fired up. I know you guys are too. And we've got an exciting game plan for you guys this whole year, man. So make sure you guys are locked and loaded. Got to remind you about our presenting sponsor, our friends over at the Good Feet Store. Make sure you guys check them out. We've got a lot of good stuff planned together with the Good Feet Store. Probably going to do some giveaways. I told you guys last week about what they've got planned. They're going to be doing the kick at the Alabama football games where you can win some cash. It's kick for cash. So make sure you guys, when you are at the game, make sure you guys are trying to get in on that action because all you got to do is go kick a good, field goal, and you can win some cash. Plus probably some nice arch supports, which, again, that's what they are known for. The Good Feet Store, arch supports designed to eliminate and alleviate all types of pain, foot pain, knee pain, back pain, hip pain, you name it. They will take care of it. All you got to do is throw them in your shoes. Doesn't matter what type of shoes. They go in there and they get to work. Clinically proven to do so in just 4 short weeks. Where can you find them? Well, Midtown Village here in Tuscaloosa, right off of McFarland Boulevard is the location here. They are nationwide. Go to their website, goodfeet.com. Schedule an appointment. Find the nearest location. You get more information. But just check them out. Walk-ins are welcome. You can always schedule an appointment if you like. But just head on in there and see what they have to offer. I promise you guys will be pleased with what they've got because these things are game changers, especially for me. I'm on my feet all the time, especially with football season coming up. I'm going to be walking a bunch. You guys know how it is on game day, man. You're trekking. You got to park far. Get those Arch Sports in those shoes, man. That way you're comfortable watching the games when you do finally get into Bryant-Denny Stadium. We got to hit our first timeout. When we come back, we're jumping into week 1, Florida State prep. We're going to take a look at them. We'll hear from Mike Norvell. He had a press conference. I believe Kalen DeBoer will be speaking to the media as well. We'll obviously hear from him. We'll do our breakdowns. We'll hear from you. We're going to have one hell of a show right here on the Miller's Edge. Top 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Support Experts. Quick timeout. We'll be right back.
Tuscaloosa Mazda, they are expanding their showroom to serve you better. Come see their new and pre-owned Mazda lineup, offering fuel efficiency, advanced technology, and plush comfort. Tuscaloosa Mazda, 3100 Skyland Boulevard East, or online at TuscaloosaMazda.com.
August is your time to shine at Pearl River Resorts. Ignite your weekend on Fridays and Saturdays, and join us for our Summer Sizzler Plinko game event. Each hour, one lucky player will drop the puck to win a hot.
All right, here we go. Let's see what we got going on the YouTube stream. Welcome in, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. Glad you guys are with us. If you haven't already, man, drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know the drill, and share it if you know anybody that would enjoy the content, man. Share it, share it, share it. We're growing. We're trying to build up the YouTube platform, man, and we've got some heat coming y'all's way. So don't what's the term I'm looking for? Don't gatekeep, man. Go ahead and share it, share the video, all that good stuff, man. We're about to really dive into things. Y'all are really about to understand what we're known for and why we do it better than anybody else. So you're about to find out. Yeah, Kenji, what's going on? Roll Tide. Todd from Charleston, man. Love Charleston. Welcome in, Dwight. Yes, sir. Dr. Crystal, what's going on? Mike, my guy, what's up? Exactly, from you. Jalen didn't have any blocking that game. Typical what we were used to. But again, people that know football, man, you can watch it, understand that. With the better, with better offensive line play, would have been a little bit better of a showing. But nonetheless, man, everybody still has to be accountable, and he's got to protect the football better. I mean, even if you don't have time, even if they're hitting you like that, sometimes it's inevitable. You're caught off guard, but others, like the QB sneak, man, and he knows, right? But you got to protect the football, especially on that, man. It's your job. Your number's called. You got to, really get in that scrum. Got to protect the football. What was the other one? I think the botch snap. I couldn't. TV copy was kind of hard to tell. I wasn't sure if it was him or the center, but then I think the sack. I mean, poor blocking, but nah, man, he had some good plays in that game. I mean, of course, the haters are going to immediately jump to the turnovers, and that's all they care about. But they'll completely disregard all the throws that people said he couldn't make. I mean, one thing I learned, I've known this, but that I think he did well at during the preseason was that he did a nice job. They did a lot of like rhythm throws for him, right? You know what I'm saying? Get him in rhythm, quick little stick routes. Quick. He had good timing, picking up good yardage, building his confidence. And then he had some dimes, man. Had some nice throws. And so, look, I mean, again, it's a preseason. You don't expect somebody to go out there and be perfect. But I think he displayed a number of things that you can build off of. And obviously, he showed that he's still got some things he's got to work on. And he's going to be all right, man. He's going to be all right. But, yeah, that was fun to watch. What else we got? Julene, what's going on? Crystal, good afternoon. How are you? Some more South Carolina folks in here. I love it. And we got the pastor painting. What up?
What's happening? What's happening?
Man, you missed the new intro, man. I might have to tell Chase to run it back just so you can hear it. New intro's fire, man.
Well, let me hear it, Chase.
Finally, after what, almost a year, over a year of asking, can we please get this updated? They finally did it.
Listen, man, timing is everything. It's perfect. It's a new season. It's a new day. But Chase, I guess the next. Have you been to break yet? The first break.
That's what we're on right now. We're on a timeout.
Oh yeah, I love to hear that. Oh, it is timeout.
Yeah,
Chase,
we're on a break. Chase, Is it all right if you come back with that intro one more time? We got to run it back. You know how it works, man.
Not the gas pump.
Like Jay Uso, he runs his intro back. The intro was fire. We got to run it back, just like Jay does. Let's do it. Yes, sir. Run that.
Did Chase do that?
Yeah. We're gonna do the Jay Uso. We're gonna re-eat. If you guys watch wrestling, you know. Yes, sir. We got to run that intro back. Radio listeners gonna be like, why are they doing that? Because, man, we finally got the intro. Yeah, exactly.
At Box Eye Care. They moved to their new location, bringing you a brand new lab, stylish new frames, and a fresh look just for you. Enjoy their expanded frame inventory, competitive prices, and faster service, all with the same great level of service you've come to know and trust. Discover this full-service eye care at Box Eye Care's new location. With their in-house lab.
Carson likes that hat, by the way. He said he wants to know where you got it.
Now, schedule your eye exam today.
Yeah, a lady at Starbucks wanted to get one, too. I got it online. It's called Our Guide.
Visit boxeyecare.com. 342-0660. That's 205-3.
Damn, Martin, how long is your ad, brother?
5003 Oscar Baxter Drive.
Got that money.
Jesus.
Pay for the money.
Once again with Christian Miller taking up that.
It's time for the Miller's Edge with New York Giants legend and South Carolina Hall of Famer Corey Miller and his son, 4-time SEC champion and 2-time national champion Christian Miller.
Knocked down again. It was Christian Miller.
Here is college football playoff national champion Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
And welcome back into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9. And I know you guys on the radio are probably like, wait, did they just restart? Yeah, we just ran that intro back because, I mean, hey, look, man, we waited a long time to get that done. I thought it sounded pretty damn good. The only thing I'd add is they took out my part about my Panthers, man. I still want to, represent the Panthers. So probably got to throw that back in there, former Carolina Panthers. But
nobody cares.
No, they don't care. But I do. It's a part of my history. It's a part of my history. Look, you got your Giants in there, so I'm just saying. I mean, I'm gonna get the Panthers thrown back in there. But we had to run it back. If you guys watch wrestling, we had to pull the Jay Uso. We had to run the theme back because it sounded pretty damn good. We had the calls. Christian Miller on the sack. Look, things that we should have had in there, and it has a nice ring to it, man. But anyway, you also just heard the Pastor Payne talking. If you're on the radio. That's because he's joining us. He's on here now. Looks like he's back to doing what he does best, being on that road. I would say in the old Suburban, but he's got something a little bit different now. But he's rolling not only with us, but down 82 or 85. I don't know where he's rolling, but he's rolling.
No, I am at the beautiful coast of South Carolina. We call it Isle of Palms. If you've never been down to the coast, let me shout out my great state of South Carolina. If you want to see beautiful beaches, beautiful homes, beautiful food and restaurants, come down to Charleston, Isle of Palms. You can go a little further north to where my spot is, good on Polly's Island. All that is so good. So you need to check it out. Check it out, man. I'm going to play golf for Mark Bryan and Denny Hamlin's event, so I'm here for that. So. Oh,
nice. Denny Hamlin, cool, but shout out to Joey Logano. Yeah, and I trust him. I know. That's why I said he's cool and all, but shout out to Joey Logano. Me and him both are partners with the Good Feet store. So I'm more of a Logano guy. But
yeah, Logano's I think he's a Joe Gibbs racing guy, I believe, who's a part of this. Joe Gibbs always is here normally. And between he and I, we do the little devotion prayer before the tournament starts. So it's always cool there.
Good deal. All right. Well, I told everybody before you hopped in here, man, we got some exciting stuff planned. And I this is how I'm looking at it for this time around. Mondays, I want to treat it like how we do it, right? Because everybody knows we're both former players, right? We have the experience of the game prep of what this really looks like. And I want to share it with our listeners. I want them to have that opportunity. So you know how it is. Mondays are always your prep day, right? Monday is your day where you're getting to know your opponent. You're looking at the personnel. You're looking at the schematics. You spend more time in the meeting room than you do actually on the practice field. So that's what we're doing here on the show today. And so I want to kick things off and take a look at Florida State. They did just release their depth chart. And so we get to take a look at that. I'm putting it on the screen on the stream right now. Again, if you guys are listening on radio, I'm going to cover it as best as I can. But if you want to see it with your own eyes, hop on over to the YouTube stream. So here it is right here. Starting quarterback, we already know. Tommy Castellanos, however you pronounce it. He's your starting quarterback. No surprise there. We'll hear from Mike Norvell in a little bit. He talked about his quarterback in his press conference, a number of other guys as well. When you also roll down the depth chart, you see a couple familiar faces, right? If you're an Alabama fan, at least. Roydell Williams named their starting running back with the "or" next to Gavin Sawchuk, if that's how you pronounce it right. You guys know how I am with names. But Roydell Williams, their running back, missed a lot of time last year with injury, but we know him very well. Really good running back, kind of a do-it-all, three-down type of running back. And we're very familiar with him. So that's going to be an exciting matchup to see us face him with his new program. Rolling down the list, you also see on the defensive side, in terms of familiar faces, Earl Little Jr. being named their starting rover, which is kind of like their Husky position, right? It's like that star, which we used to call like our nickel corner. So two familiar faces in starting roles for the Florida State Seminoles. But going back over to the offense, just looking at their depth chart, the wide receiver position, they bring in Deuce Robinson, a guy who people have a lot of high expectations for. Another name that people are probably familiar with is Squirrel White. If you're wondering why it sounds familiar, it's not just because of the name. It sounds kind of funny. No offense. It's just Squirrel is kind of an interesting name. But a former Tennessee receiver who had some big plays against Alabama a couple seasons ago. But you look at the offensive line, one thing I noticed, all redshirt seniors pretty much. I mean, these guys have a lot of experience. So they're a veteran-led group. The key piece there is Luke Pettivon, who's been there for quite some time. He's their center, and he's going to be the one kind of, handling everything, the signal caller up front with that unit. But again, they did bring in a number of guys via the transfer portal. That's what makes it really kind of tough when you look at this Florida State football team to really get an idea. There's just so many new names, new faces that, you can kind of anticipate what it's going to look like, what it's going to be. But with it being week one, there's only so much you can go off of. But they do have a number of other guys that you might want to keep an eye on. I do know one of their receivers, the freshman, is somebody that a lot of people are. He's a highly rated guy. I'm trying to forgot his name for a second, but I think Carson might have mentioned him in the chat. But anyway, they've got some skill guys. They got some players, and definitely looking forward to that matchup. Moving on to the defensive side of the ball, again, a number of transfers over there. I want to say the edge spot. Mentioned Earl Little Jr. already. In the secondary, they have a number of players with some experience, number of guys that probably going to be getting some NFL attention. So, look, they've got players. We know that. You can't let the record from last year really reflect, how you anticipate them being this season. There you go, Carson. Yeah. Is it Javen? Boggs. I think that was who I was thinking of. But, look, they've got guys, and we'll dive deeper into these players, throughout the week, maybe pull up some tape on a couple of them. But just looking at their starting lineup, man, they're going to have some guys. They're going to have some Jimmies and Joes. And then the next step to that is when you look at how will they be used, you're bringing in a new offensive coordinator. You're bringing in a new defensive coordinator. Well, luckily, I went and watched a bunch of tape. I went and looked at UCF. I went and looked at Nebraska to get an idea of how these things, how schematically, how they may look. And I think I got a pretty good idea. Looking at their defense, you're expected to see a 3-3-5 style of defense. And I'll pull up kind of some screenshots on the screen. Coach White comes over from Nebraska, where he was with my former coach in Carolina, which was Matt Rule. But anyway, they hired him from over there, who, if you go back and you look, man, Nebraska had a really good defense last year. Statistically, they did a really nice job and were one of the top defenses in almost every category, and including stopping the run, which people normally view the 3-3-5 as something that's a little vulnerable against the run, which, yes, it can be. But what I did notice is he does a really nice job of, it's not just, typical 3-3-5 stacks. They're able to get in and out of a number of different things. And I really would consider it more of a multiple. They do flash some 3-3-5 stuff. I mean, if you look at this right here, first play from this Indiana game with them on defense, you see this 3-3-5 look on the screen, but it takes nothing for them just to roll that, which would be their Husky, or what we used to call jack down, creating a 4-down front and getting to more of a traditional 4-down 4-2-5 nickel look. So you'll see a number of different things. They mix it up. They bring pressure. They're very aggressive. They're a penetrating style defense. But what makes it interesting is their approach is a little interesting, right? I mean, there's times they're a zone-based defense. So you'll see a lot of zone drops. Sometimes they do only bring those 3 guys. They're trying to drop 8, trying to create that net. Other times they're bringing pressure from other places, and that is one of the luxuries of a 3-3-5 defense. It allows you to have that flexibility and almost like the element of surprise, because as you see here, you have your 3 guys down on line of scrimmage. You know, you could really bring any of these guys, and that's typically what you see out of 3-3-5s, whether it's plugging backers, whether it's bringing somebody off the edge. There's a lot of movement, and especially pre-snap with what they do. And so I fully expect them to try to do that, especially given that they'll be facing Ty Simpson in his first career start on the road. I expect them to try to mix it up, show him different looks, try to get him kind of off his game, you know, make him, you know, see ghosts, so to speak. And I wouldn't be shocked if they throw a lot of different things at him, because that's what Coach White is known to do. And we've heard a lot about, you know, Tommy Castellanos talking about some of those looks that he's gotten preseason, spring training camp. This defense is in terms of the system, right? It's a really good system, and it's something that's had a lot of success, and it's caught a lot of fire recently within college football. A few years ago, you looked at a 3-3-5 and you kind of laughed at it just because it was more of a Big 12 type defense, trying to defend the pass, didn't really generate much pressure. But now you see really everybody using some form of it at some point. Georgia uses it. Alabama has adopted some 3-3-5 defenses even before Kane Wommack got here. We saw it with Coach Saban. So this is just something that they base out of, that they'll move around a lot, and you'll see a good bit of it. So it will be interesting to see Alabama's approach, because, again, just to, I guess, go back, the 3-3-5 is known to, number one, generate different looks, create confusion, and, you know, kind of muddy up the blocking schemes for the offensive lineman, but also allow you flexibility to get in and out of different things and bring pressure from different places. So it's a little bit more on the complex side when it comes to, you know, as an offensive unit, trying to dissect it and understand kind of what you're getting, you know, every snap. But there are some vulnerabilities, and we'll continue to talk about some of that throughout there. Did you have any thoughts on this? I know I just went and talked a whole bunch.
No. I mean, you're right. I mean, I just echo what you said. Listen, I mean, it's the first game, and here's what I want people to understand, and probably they know this, but in case you don't, it's game number 1. And I think we all have to be careful of how much we break down and dissect and even win or lose in this ball game. You know, you'll know a little bit, but it's normally that game 2 to 3 where you start to see the identity of these football teams begin, right? And so I caution fans about that, number 1. Number 2, there's going to be turnovers. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be false starts. There's going to be, punts dropped, muffed, kickoffs, fumbled. It's the first game. It's high energy. Guys are happy about playing somebody different. Camp is over. You hit a jersey that you haven't seen before. All of this stuff somewhat causes a little bit angst, especially early in the football game. But I think for Alabama, you're taking a team out there with a lot of new faces, a new quarterback in Ty Simpson, which all eyes will be on him. Game day, everybody in America will be talking about Ty Simpson, you know, because now you're going with a unproven quarterback since the last couple of years, Jalen Milroe. Even before that, you had guys that had played. So this is like you're starting over again at that position. So, you know, they just got to be relaxed. They got to be calm. You know, what kind of game will Ryan Grubb call with Ty Simpson? You know, how patient will he be? And I think that determines what happens in the football game. You're right. You know, what Florida State is going to do. Anytime you got an unproven guy that has not played a lot of football, you're going to see a lot of pressure, right? You're going to see a lot of looks. You're going to see a lot of what we call sugaring by the defender. They're going to move around. They're going to try to cause mistakes. They're going to try to force them into turnovers. You're on the road. hostile crowd. You're going to have 75, 80,000 against you, hoping to get turnovers because that create momentum. So they're going to see a lot of different stuff out of Alabama. This is a critical game. You know, if we look at it on paper, yes, Alabama has more talent. Florida State has done what they've done in the last 3 or 4 years. They have been very aggressive, maybe one of the most aggressive teams when it comes to transfer portal, going out, getting guys, plug and play type of guys. You just alluded to a couple of the Alabama football players. But it is a big game from the standpoint of it's a dangerous game. You're playing a opponent that was undefeated a couple of years ago. Now they sucked, excuse my language, last year, but they were terrible. But 2 years ago, this team was a quarterback being healthy from being in the playoffs and a good football team. So, you know, can they get back to that? You know, can they get the quarterback play from Castellanos, whatever his name is, that's running his trap nonstop? But I think what Alabama has to do to win this game, they got to be able to run the football. No Jam Miller. That may cause a little bit of problems. I know I heard guys talking and why they're going to be superstars. Just be quiet. Go show us. Don't tell me about it. Go show me. Right? Just go out there and play, but they got to run the ball. They got to be physical at the point of attack. Establish that. First downs, move the chains. That keeps the crowd noise down. Protect the football and defense. Those 3 things that has to always travel when you're in high-level football, right? And if they're not playing good in one of these areas, they got a very, very good potential of losing that football game. So this is going to be a very critical game for Alabama. But as I said initially, even if they lost, I'm not saying that they are. I haven't made my predictions yet. But you can't, get bent up out of shape. It's just game number 1 and a new quarterback. Anything can happen in these football games. So I think, you got to sit back and just let it unfold, and we'll see. We'll see what Ryan Grubb is going to bring as an offense. How differently will it look? Minus Jalen Milroe, what will this offense look like? Will it be a quick passing game, ball out of the hands of the quarterback, get into the hands of these great wide receivers, let them run up your catch? Will it be that, or will it be heavy run focus? I'm excited to see, what type of game or what type of offense will this evolve into? I think that's really the million-dollar question with this team this year. Can the offense be good as we saw like in Washington a few years ago? Will it be that type of offense, or will it be something that's a combo of both?
Yeah, no, I agree. And speaking of Alabama's offense in this game, what I gather just watching a lot of this Nebraska tape, I mean, I mentioned them based on that 3-3-5 moving around. You see on the screen right here, they got a four-man front. Looks like more of a nickel look with just that dime linebacker in the middle. 6 DBs, I believe, if I'm counting. Actually, no, they got somebody mugged up. I'm sorry. I didn't even see him right there. But what I'm getting at is they're going to show different things. But what they do is they're really a true zone type of team. And with that, I do believe there's going to be a lot of opportunities. You see them playing off a good bit there. You got the guy pressed up top. But I think, if you're Alabama going into this first game, man, take what the defense gives you, knowing they're going to be trying to throw different things at you, trying to complicate things, muddy it up. For a guy like Ty Simpson, obviously, like you mentioned, man, first and foremost, establish that running game. We already know that. But I think when it comes to the passing game, right? I mean, I mentioned some of their DBs. I mean, you look at it's going to be some interesting matchups. I know we're really high on this receiver room, and I still stand by that. But you look at Florida State secondary, man, they've got a couple of guys that I mentioned earlier going to be some NFL type players. And I believe that it's going to be some good matchups. But schematically, I think there's going to be some openings for, some quick pass game, get Ty in a rhythm. And then when those opportunities are there, take advantage of it. That was one thing I noticed. There are going to be some deep shot opportunities when facing this defense, but you just got to be patient, take what they're giving you, and then when those open up, take advantage of it. But I agree with you 100%. Week 1, one of the biggest keys, especially going on the road, playing a team like this, it's going to be a hostile environment. You got to hold your marbles. You got to make sure you go down there, play disciplined football. They're going to be loud. It's going to be that type of environment. Don't want to set yourself behind the chains. Don't want to have all the false starts. We've seen that over the past few years. It's going to be really important week 1 to kind of set the tone. Because, look, Florida State's got a good team. It's hard to tell what exactly they're going to be. Like you said, it's week 1. But the last thing you want to do is, set yourself up for failure. You're right. Not playing disciplined football, not communicating. And that's where all those things are going to have to be key. And I feel like from what I've gotten from going up to practice and being around. I mean, they're working with the crowd noise, right? That you got Ty really trying to be a leader, getting guys to step up, make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. I think they will be better prepared than they have been maybe over the last few seasons in terms of traveling on the road and showing up in these big environments, these big games, especially when you got a lot of pressure, right? Because we know when that pressure adds up, right? Sometimes it makes people bust. Sometimes it makes diamonds, right? You got to pick and choose the outcome. But before we go to this next timeout, just real quick recapping a little bit of what I got to offensively from the UCF tape, man. We went and watched a little bit of them last year, KJ Jefferson. They even I forgot, man. Do you remember that Dylan Gabriel had played at UCF? I forgot about that, but he was
he did before it went to
So I went back and saw some of that. But if you watch it, man, Gus Malzahn, you already know there's going to be a lot of pre-snap movement, a lot of jet motion type action. There's going to be a lot of RPO game, zone read type stuff, especially when he's paired up with a quarterback that has dual threat capabilities like Tommy Castellano. So fully expecting that. Going to be even more critical that this defense is playing discipline, knowing what their assignment is and playing disciplined football, and then taking a step further, communicating, right? When you see those trades, when you see those jets, know what you're getting into, right? Because with us, we always had it where if we have trips here and they motion back to 2x2, we got to get back into our 2x2 check, right? How do you make sure everybody's on the same page? You communicate. That's going to be a big deal. Fully expect them to still try to run the football. People they get lost in that. They think Gus is trying to throw a whole bunch and do what you will, but they really want to get to their running game, but do it in a number of different ways. And they try to do it almost by just getting you off your game with all the motions, with the zone read type action. So got to be big there. But I also will say perimeter tackling, I think, will be big in this game. We talk about jet sweeps. We talk about them trying to run screen game, see a bunch of that. Perimeter tackling will be important. This secondary unit, I know we talk about all the turnovers that they force, but it's going to be key that they're able to go out there and play physical, defeat the blocks on the perimeter and go out there and make plays. Because when you play teams like this that run around, zone read, jet sweep type stuff, perimeter play, linebackers have to flow, got to get everybody to the ball, 11 hats to the football. And that's what they're known for, right? Swarm D, but it'll be big in this football game. So we'll continue breaking things down. Again, this is just kind of that Monday preview, getting you guys a little familiar with what you're probably going to see. Defensively, we talked about the 3-3-5. Offensively, we talked about Gus Malzahn, a little bit of what to expect from his types of offenses and how that could look with this new unit. But they've got pieces, man. I mean, even like Deuce Robinson, if you go look at him, he's a big target, 6'6". I mean, Tommy was talking about it, man. He's never had a target like that. So there's going to be some interesting matchups to watch, and we'll continue talking about those matchups, continue talking about keys to the game, previews, all that good stuff coming up. But we also got to hit some of these interviews. What also comes with Mondays is press conferences. Coaches are speaking. Mike Norvell has spoken to the media. Alabama coaches will speak to the media if they haven't already, so we got to get to those. All that coming up right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. Quick timeout. We'll be right back.
It's time to do it local at Piggly Wiggly.
I don't know why the bed music's so low. I can't really hear it. Let's see. Yes, MC. They got a new defensive coordinator from Nebraska, and they run it's a 3-3, but again, it's one of those things where it's really multiple, right? But yes, they base out of a 3-3-5, but they move around. I mean, you'll see looks. I mean, they easily can go to a 4-2-5, a number of different things, just moving guys around. But that's the biggest thing. You see a lot of movement. They disguise well. They do play a lot of zone. That's why I think just kind of like quick passing game will be important to this game, right? Just take what the defense is giving you. They're playing off, pick up the yardage, let your playmakers make plays, man. Make those guys have to run a hit. What are we vulnerable to with our defense? What is Florida State going to try to exploit? Our run defense, pass defense? I guess our run defense. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I know when you look at Florida State, you look at their personnel and Gus, man, I think first and foremost, you go back and watch tape, man. We struggled with mobile quarterbacks last year, whether it was Vanderbilt, which also incorporated read zone type mechanics. Jackson Arnold in Oklahoma, even a little bit from South Carolina, right? So my immediate thought would be they're definitely going to test that. They're definitely going to test their quarterback running game, and that'll be important. We got to show we can defend it. If not, I think they're just going to keep going to it, man. Because I mean, that's what you do as a good football coach, man. When you're breaking teams down, man, you go back, you look, what do they do well at? What do they struggle with? And ironically, we struggle. Yeah, go ahead. Ironically, we struggle with dual threat quarterback running game. So I believe they'll probably start there. But they're definitely going to try to throw the football too. I mean, they got some weapons on the outside. I mean, Squirrel White is a playmaker. Deuce Robinson coming in, big target. I definitely think they're going to try to, attack us through the air as well. But I think first and foremost, they're going to try to establish a running game, but more than likely with through a number of different ways, but especially some quarterback run stuff.
Better fit for the job. For an evaluation, contact Brian Harding Construction today at 205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752-9611.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. Week 1 is officially here. Football is officially back here in Tuscaloosa again. We are doing our Monday breakdown ahead of the Week 1 matchup versus Florida State. We've been talking about a little bit of a preview, what to expect. Went over the depth chart again. Florida State released that today, and we went over some names. But again, just to remind you guys, Tommy Castellanos is their quarterback. Transfers in from Boston College. We've been hearing a lot about him, and finally this weekend we will get to finally see if he can put some action with his words. Mentioned some of the familiar faces: Roydell Williams, Earl Little Jr., both those guys being named starters. But again, offensively, senior-led group, all redshirt seniors, I believe. Luke Pettimone has played a lot of football as well, bringing a big tackle through the transfer portal, and other guys. Deuce Robinson, a big target on the outside for Tommy Castellanos, and defensively got a big nose tackle in Darrell Jackson is a big-time playmaker up front. And a number of DBs that I feel like are going to be some good matchups for our guys as well. So we'll continue breaking this game down, continue talking about it all throughout the week. And again, if you want your most in-depth breakdowns when it comes to the game itself, man, you won't find it anywhere else than the Miller's Edge. Remember that. Plus, Mondays after Week 1, we will be breaking down the games, going back, talking about what happened, what transpired, keys from the game and all that stuff, and we'll revisit those games, then move forward to the next opponent. Obviously, we don't have a game to do that this week, but next week we'll do that. That'll be the schedule. So we'll break down the game from Saturday, then we'll move on to the next opponent again, treating it just like we do in the film rooms as players. So we're trying to give you guys that feel, right, like we used to do as players, and bringing you guys in the meeting room with us. Maybe we'll come up with a name for that segment. All right, that being said, I know we got some press conferences to get to. I know Ryan Grubb spoke to the media today. I want to get to that. Again, we got hour number 2 to do that, so we'll probably do that in a little bit. We also have Kalen DeBoer speaking to the media, and I'm assuming Kane Womack went ahead and spoke to the media as well. So what we'll probably do is hour number 2, we'll probably load up on a bunch of press conferences. So we'll do that here coming up in a minute. But first, let's go to you guys. I do know we got some app messages here on the chat. Before we go to the phone lines, I do believe we have a caller. But first, let me see what else we have. I know we just answered one from Ryan. He was asking about vulnerabilities. What do we expect in terms of them trying to how they're going to try to attack us? And I just said, I think offensively, you look at where we struggled last year quarterback running game. It gave us fits, right? Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, they've got a dual threat. Gus Malzahn knows how to use that and utilize a quarterback with running ability. I fully believe that's what we're going to see. They're going to try to get to their running game, but do it, in a number of different ways. I talked about it last week. Football, there's only so many plays you really are running, but there's a whole bunch of different ways you can get to those plays. And so I believe that's probably what we're going to see from their offense. Do think they will test us there at some point, but they'll probably set it up once they try to establish that running game first. But when you have a 6'6" target that you bring in from the transfer portal, man, they're definitely going to try to give him some looks 100%. We'll hit one more question. Mike, it's a different Mike, I believe, says, how well will the Bama fan base travel this week? I live in Tennessee, but lifetime Noel fan here. I'm sitting in the Alabama section this game. Should be interesting to say the least. I'll just say this, man. Alabama fans travel. So if you guys in the chat want to give Mike an idea, man, like let him know. Alabama fans will travel. So he will be surrounded by Alabama fans this matchup. But one thing I will say, outside of some of the bad fans I've learned about this offseason after the whole Jalen Milroe experience last year, we got a pretty solid and respectful fan base. So you should be in pretty good hands, Mike. At least I hope, man. I hope they treat you right. All right, let's go to the phone lines, 205-342-9904. We got Josh up first. Josh, welcome in.
Christian, what is going on?
What's up, Josh?
I'm actually on campus of the University of Alabama as we speak.
Oh, dang. That's what's up, man.
Yes, sir. I come down last night and had dinner with a friend of mine and got to celebrate my birthday. My birthday was Friday. And then I had to come – well, thank you. And had to come get a couple more Bama things before season started. We have made it to game week, my friend.
It's here, man. It's here. I'm looking forward to it. I'm fired up, man. It just feels different this time around.
Dude, I'm telling you. And I know, of course, loved watching you play on the defense when you was there. And but I'm looking forward to watching what this defense does. When I really think, and I've told guys, I've kept telling them this, and I'm preaching to the choir at this point, but 9 of 11 guys are coming back. And this dude, Tommy C. in Tallahassee, Florida, has the audacity, the stones, whatever you want to say, has the ego enough to say that his defense is going to be the best that he has seen, and he thinks that has made him sharp. When I heard that, I was like, man, you were out of your mind. Because I just know what kind of boys we got playing on defense this year. And, of course, Coach Womack will have them ready and whipped into shape. And I'm excited to see a couple of guys kind of hopefully have their moment and emerge. So,
we call this just fodder. We call it fodder, right? It's just players fodder. I could use a more colorful language, but I am a pastor and I won't do that. But, it's one of the things that, they're just throwing stuff out there, hope it sticks somewhere, hope people believe it. Well, I tell you who's not going to believe it, and that's the Alabama Crimson Tide football team. I don't care what these guys are saying. When you got people talking, making all this noise, bro, listen, that tells me one or two things. They're probably a little bit scared, and they're trying to number two, motivate themselves to feel more confident about themselves. Because when players start chirping, like that, my defense, listen, your defense was terrible last year, right? So you see them in practice where they can't hit you. You can throw the ball at free will. It's not the same. The bottom line is what we're going to see on Saturday, who you really are, what you're about, how good your defense is, how good Alabama's defense and offense is. It's going to show now. Everybody in the world is going to have a chance to see it with their own eyes. It ain't about, coaches talking and press conferences. We're going to see, right? No more closed scrimmages. We are going to see who everybody is. And so I think as an Alabama fan, you're looking for this team to get back to who they used to be. They're not going to be Nick Saban, but you want them to get back somewhere close and respectable where everybody in the country now goes, okay, Alabama is playing some good football. It's Kalen DeBoer style, but they're aggressive. There's a process is back. They're confident. They're stingy on defense. They're going to bust you in your mouth. They're going to run the football. That 4-minute offense is going to be back when they got a 10-point lead. They can close games out by running the football again. This is for me as an Alabama fan, and I'm an Alabama fan because of my son. You know, I'm looking to see, can they get back to that type of standard, right? It ain't going to be Nick Saban. I'm not going to hold them to that because I think that's very unfair to try to hold them to that standard. But Alabama and Alabama football means something, and they have a way internally of playing football and how to do this thing. They got to get back to some of that, right? And I like the fact that there's no Willie around breaking down the defense. There's no all this outside stuff coming inside, podcasts, and all the looseness of the program. What he did was he tightened things up. And he goes, you know what? I did it the first year, trying to get comfortable, make people like me, whatever it was, whatever the reason was. He knows that, hey, football down south, bro, that's a serious thing. And especially at the University of Alabama. We ain't about, all this outside crap stuff. That's good for social media, but this is real stuff. And I think Kalen the board, his mindset has changed. And I think because of that, that locker room is going to be changed and guys are going to be more about their business. And that's why I expect them to be much better, much more sound, much more disciplined than we've seen last year.
Right. Yeah, I think so too. And like I was going to mention, I think Keon Keeley, I think he's set to have a bit of a breakout year. I'm not saying he's going to be the exact guy, but I am saying that I think he's one of the guys to definitely keep an eye on. And I'm excited for him. I'll never forget first time somebody told me about him and brought him up. So I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. And, of course, LT got to the Wisconsin quarterback a couple of times last year and woke him up and knocked him around. So we'll see. And I'm excited. But I could run through this defense all day long. I mean, I'm not strictly a defensive guy as far as watching the ball and watching the game. But just this year, to me, the defensive side of the football, just the whole thing feels different. But I think you know what I mean whenever I look at the defense specifically. So
yeah, no, and I think the biggest thing for this defense, I mean, the turnovers they forced last year, man, was just awesome. That's one of the biggest stats you can have as a defensive unit. I think the only thing that really stands out for me is consistent physicality, consistency in terms of execution, man. And you just, I go back and watch the tape. I think one of the first plays against LSU, I mean, I see we give up, I think it was like second play, man. I think they ran like outside zone play. It goes for like 30, 40 yards. Just given, our guys weren't in the right place. It's not always just the call. And I think we kind of had our backers mugged up. And that's why, certain things I just think we just got to continue just to clean up and be better at. If we are going to show some of those different types of looks and be a little cute like that, we got to make sure we execute it the right way accordingly and don't give up those types of plays. But I think really, man, there's a lot to build off of, a lot to be excited about. We talked about the pass rush too. That's the other big thing with this defense, needing to step up. And you mentioned like there's some names, man. It's just theirs for the taking. I mean, I fully expect at least early on, LT, Quay Russaw, those probably being your top two guys. Yonze Pierre has done a nice job really coming along. I think you'll see a good bit of him in this first game, given that you're going against a dual threat quarterback that can move. So we need some more speed and athleticism out there. And you mentioned Keon, but I also think Jordan Renaud is a guy to watch in terms of him seeing an increased role.
Right. Yep. And I could run down a couple more rabbit holes as far as like specifically real quick talking about having that speedster and against that dual threat quarterback. I'll never forget, you go back to the Oklahoma game, we played Kyler Murray. And he tries to run up the middle, and he had a hole for about a half a second. And Quentin Williams grabbed his jersey tail and said, "You get back here, boy." And that was just fun to watch. But anyways, hey, y'all.
Damn, you don't remember my sack on him? I ate dude up. Pause. I mean, dang. I mean, you don't remember my sack in that game? Come on, Josh.
I've watched that game. And
I mean, dude, I about knocked his head off. Damn. See, that's crazy. But see, I see how you do, Josh. I see how you do.
I mean, it's not on purpose.
Wow. You can't mention Oklahoma in a sack without even really? No, I'm just messing with you, man. No, I'm giving you a hard time, brother. I'm just giving you a hard time. Josh, we got to hit this top of the hour break, man. We appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, buddy. Roll Tide.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, Josh.
Roll Tide.
God bless you, bro. Roll Tide.
No, I'm just giving him a hard time. I thought he was talking about that hit. Then he said, "Oh, and Quinn grabbed him." I was like, I think he's actually talking about Anthony Jennings. Though I think that was Anthony's sack that he's talking about. Unless there's another one later on. After I got hurt and tore my hamstring, I ain't gonna lie, I couldn't really watch much. I was too busy rolling around in the training room just trying to get my legs to stop cramping up. Because goodness gracious, oh, that did not feel good. Not feel good. All right, we got to hit this top of the hour break. When we come back, we keep on rolling on this week one Monday edition.
Let's go.
Nah, bro, it ain't enough ice for a torn hamstring, bro. You need a lot more than that, bro. I had ice, all type of stuff going on. We got to hit this top of the hour break. We come back. We keep on rolling. Florida State week one prep coming at you right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC.
WTBC.
My understanding is their whole offensive line, fifth-year seniors, but are all from the recent portal. I think 4 of them are from the portal, if I'm not mistaken. But, yeah, they all are, like, redshirt seniors. Let's see. Yeah, and you know, when you go up against a senior-led group like that, man, like on one end you're like, all right, yeah, they're all from the portal. You know, they're trying to mesh and gel, but on the other side, man, anytime you have an experienced offensive line group, you expect them to have, you know, minimal errors. You expect them to play pretty sound. I'm not saying they're going to be the best unit, but typically you expect them just to be a little bit more of a tight-knit unit in terms of just execution across the board, communication, you know what I mean, not having breakdowns in their assignments. But I heard one guy saying he was like, oh, since they're all fifth-year seniors, that means they can't be pretty good because they would have been in the NFL by now or something. I was like, what? I was like, dude, what is that? It's like, what is that? Like, it's not a breakdown, man. I mean, you know, I mean, and people say, I mean, especially with NIL, I don't think you can really even consider that. Some guys might have just been like, if to me, I'm like, if you're not going to be a first or even early second round pick, you might as well continue to stay in college, especially nowadays with NIL. Why would you leave when you can keep getting paid and keep improving your draft status? I'm like, when that dude said that, I just was like, that's why I don't watch a lot of content. If I'm being honest with you guys, that's why I only listen to people that I believe are credible stuff, man. With all due respect, you guys can listen to whatever you want to listen to, but I just urge you, please listen to people that know what they're talking about, because, bro, the amount of people with platforms nowadays that just are just spewing things out, just saying what people want to hear, just talking to what sounds good is unbelievable. I don't understand it. You know, you used to make those comments, and I was like, man, you're being a little harsh, man. Don't be like that. Because, see, I never used to watch. I don't watch other stuff like that. But recently, like, I'm like, it pops up all the time because now that we're streaming on here and we do all this Alabama football content, so I always suggest this stuff. And I'll just, like, click on something. I'll be there for, like, 3 minutes, and then they just say something outlandish or something that makes no sense. And I'm just like, but this is what people are listening to, though. Again, I don't. People are entitled to have platforms, whatever. That's not the problem. I just hate that it's like they're sharing stuff that's just not accurate. It's not right, and they have this following that people are just buying the stuff, and then they go regurgitate it all over the place. I think that's part of the problem why you see a lot of the nonsense you see on social media nowadays. People don't think for themselves, so they just have bad information, man.
Pretty much.
You have to hit the block button. Nah, see, it's not even like it's like I wouldn't even block because I don't have a problem with it. I'm just like, I just hate it that it's like I just wish there was a little bit more of a process to like people having and be more.
Anybody can have a platform. I mean, it's not just sports. It's life. It's
no. It's in general.
Everybody has a media channel, right? If you want a media, you can get them create your own media. And call it what you want, whatever field you want. I mean, it's just what it is, free speech, and people, you know, but we have to be the judge of what we want to ingest, you know, so.
True. And welcome back into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. Hey, it's week 1. We're breaking down Alabama, Florida State. We're doing our Monday preview. We talked about the depth chart that was released by Florida State. I wanted to get to a little bit of Mike Norvell's press conference, at least, and then maybe I'll get just like 2 of his answers when he talked about Alabama, because we're definitely not going to have much time. We got to hear from Kalen DeBoer, who spoke to the media. The coordinators also did as well. And anything that we don't get to today, no worries. We will jump on it tomorrow and cover it. Plus, we got callers lined up. I know you guys are excited. Want to go ahead and start diving into this talk. So let's go back to the phone lines, 205-342-9904. We got Pat up next. Pat, welcome in.
Well, hey, man, I just read something that I didn't read. I thought prior to the football game that Osceola, the Seminole Indian lookalike, throws a war lance in the center of the field that's lit up on fire, and it's not a war lance. It's actually a spear that just represents the Seminole people. So it ain't no big deal to it. I thought it was an actual war lance, like they was ready to go to war. And they're not ready to go to war at all. What do you think?
Like my dad said, Pat, I have no clue because it's week 1. I mean, we can break them down as much as we like. But I will say this.
Is your daddy there? I want to talk about field conditions. Is your daddy there?
Yeah, he's on here, but let me finish what I was going to say first.
I'm Mr. Pat.
Go ahead.
Hey, what I want to talk about is the fact that they've done something that Auburn did. Auburn turned the sprinklers on prior to one of our football games for nearly a week, wetting the field down to slow the track. Well, guess what they've done in Tallahassee? They have ripped up the artificial grass and planted at the last minute change to natural grass. And you know that stuff's not going to be seeded in at that field conditions with a 50% chance of rain, that this could be a slow track. And what do you think?
Well,
Mr.
it's funny that you, Mr. Reverend, it's funny that you mentioned that, Pat, right? Back in 1986, we went to play a high school by the name of Batesburg, Leesville. We were 2A upper state championship game, and the weather, and when we left Payson, it's about 2.5, 3-hour ride, was so sunny, not a cloud in the sky. When we got to Batesburg, Leesville, it looked like it had a hurricane on the football field. Not in the parking lot, not on the road, outside the stadium, but on the football field. It's like the Lord himself said, I'm going to cause a hurricane and dump rain for hours under this field. I mean, puddles. And coach was like, how did this happen? Because we were a fast team, we were an athletic team. You know, they wet the field so bad. We had no cleats. We didn't have the money to change cleats and longer and all that. We didn't have that. And we ended up losing that game, I think, 7-3. And the coach that coached this team, one day I was at a cigar shop, said, it's true that they did what you're accusing Florida State of, wetting the field so that the field was sloppy and it was slower, and they had the advantage because they knew what cleats to wear and the other team didn't. So, yes, this stuff happens. I think it happens, and
here's the deal. Yeah, this goes question back to Christian. Was Tank still your manager when you were there?
Who?
Tank Connolly. Was he still the equipment manager?
No, we had Jeff Springer.
Okay. Well, Tank used to have a 2 to 3 pair of cleats for every player. They take a tractor trailer that leaves Alabama usually on Monday or Tuesday, going to whatever game they're going to make sure they gets there with no breakdown, that has cleat after cleat after cleat with every configuration possible, in order to make sure that what my good buddy the Reverend there just said, that Alabama has the money to have whatever kind of cleat we need. Did y'all have that, Corey? No, not Corey, but Christian.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm
Christian.
being honest, I'm being honest with you, Pat. I think any big time program is going to have multiple pairs of cleats. I mean, even smaller schools, Pat. I mean, we used to even have specific cleats for the rain, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Honestly, I mean, the weather's going to be the weather. Jeff Springer probably makes a whole hell of a lot of money to be able to prepare us, but yeah, I mean, there's cleats that literally have specific spikes designed for wet field conditions. So. Best believe
Now,
Alabama
Florida State's a true grass field, right? They don't have field turf.
No, they got grass, but it doesn't matter though.
They just changed it. And last minute change is what I'm getting at. They didn't give this grass time to grow in. I mean, they could have changed this field back in May, and they didn't do it. They waited to the last minute to change this field, and it's going to make for sloppy conditions, is what it looks like to me.
Yeah, but I mean, football, man, those are the fun ones to play. And I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I was about to say it. It's Alabama, Florida State we're talking about, Pat. I mean, football is going to be football. You're right. It could be an ugly one. I mean, we saw what USF looked like with those field conditions, but, hopefully we're better prepared this time around. And I don't know if they just didn't bring the right cleats or what, but that game, I feel like everybody was slipping and sliding. But, yeah, we in the past, we've always had proper cleats that if we knew we were expecting something like that, we would make sure we were properly equipped.
What I want your listening audience to know to bring their sloppy boots, because Florida State just has very poor drainage on the field and around the field. Where parking is, goes underwater with not much rain at all. So, you bring your nice shoes there. Make sure you bring some boots or something.
Oh, yeah. It might be a messy one.
Listen, it might be messy. It's going to be messy because I think all this talking Florida State doing, I just got a good feeling the boys on defense going to have a little something to say. I just really do. I mean, my initial gut feeling is that Alabama's defense, I gave Kane Womack a lot of grief at times last year. I think he's a good coach, but I think this defense, everybody talking about what Alabama and how they struggle stopping, doing threat. No, listen, I just told my church this yesterday. In Isaiah, the Bible says, behold, I'm going to show you a new thing. Ecclesiastes said there's a new season. There's always a new season. You can't keep worrying about what they used to struggle. Nobody's sitting there saying what they used to struggle with when Nick Saban was here defensively, right? It's about this team. It's about this defense. No, this is a new team. It's a new season. Forget yesterday. What is the mindset? What is the identity of this team? And that's like I told my church. We started over. A new name, new foundation, new everything. It's a new season. It's a new ministry. Nobody cares what they did 20 years ago. Yeah, that was great. That had a great run. That's over. What can we do in this season? Things are different. People are different. These kids are different. We have to change and mold ourselves to the culture, and we don't change the foundation. We don't change the principles, blocking and tackling, if you will, when it comes to church. The Bible is going to be the Bible. We ain't changing that. But how we do certain things has to change to be able to reach this new culture. Same thing with this football team. They got a new identity, a new offensive coordinator. They got new players, new people. What can they change to stop this type of offense? And I think they'll be well prepared, in my opinion.
Corey, what you can do for your church, the best thing you can do is feed the youth. Constantly have pizza parties for them. Hey, you feed them, you get them in the door, you can change them if you get them in the door. That's
what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
And but hey, I got this score 42-10. Alabama wins, and the Silk Suits of Vegas has got it at 51.5. So I don't think I'm that far off. What do you think, Corey?
Ooh, that's a big lopsided score. First game, I said earlier. I just believe first game is always hard. Every one that I've ever played in was difficult because I knew, you're sick of camp, you're sick of going against one another. You get so excited, and sometimes it's hard to really compose yourself, especially early in the game. Anxiety sets in, turnovers, jumping off sides, false starts. There's always something that goes into these games. And I just think they'll be a lot closer, especially when you got, programs like this, and especially if you're on the road and you're not at home, so you don't recover as quickly. I think that's a little bit much, Pat. I do like the dub. I don't know what the score, but I think Alabama wins this game. But I think it's going to be a lot more difficult than people expect.
Okay. Well, I hope not. For Ty's sake, I like to see Ty with four touchdowns.
The bottom line, just to win. Just win.
Yeah,
win
a W is a W. I'll take a 1-point victory, but I'd like to see him have a coming out party. Yeah, gotcha. All right, you guys have a blessed day, and field conditions could be kind of rough.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that, Pat.
Thank you. Right. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. Good deal. Yeah, he's right. There's definitely going to be some field conditions. But, hey, man, like, I don't know if you guys are like me, but growing up, man, playing the rain was always fun. Now, obviously, that is going to change, things from a game plan perspective. Obviously, a lot more running the football.
Got to be playing in the rain?
Listen. I meant like as a kid, it made it fun. It's about what you make it. Now, obviously, we're talking about competitive college football. Obviously, it's not ideal to have wet field conditions, people slipping around, me trying to get my pass rush, and I'm slipping on the edge. I get that part. But I'm saying, like, sometimes you got to make the most of it. Just have fun, man. Go back to the old days when you were young, just running around, tackling the guy at the ball and having fun, man, just getting after it. That's all I was saying. But in terms of being prepared, I mean, if you don't think Alabama and even Florida State, because they got to play on the field too, don't have the right equipment for this stuff, all the money they get from Nike and all that, come on now. They'll be all right. But that is something to pay attention to. He's right. The weather will be at play. I had this play pulled up, and I just wanted to mention this real quick. It just was an example of some of the things you see from this defense, 3-3-5, multiple defense from Tony White. Here's a look that they have. I think this was like on a 4th down, but what they end up showing, it's almost like a 4-down front. They end up bringing a backer through the B gap, and that end ends up dropping out, and they get into a cover 3 defense. And really, it's still just a 4-man rush, but they're bringing the backer, and that's why when we talk about the 3-3-5, things can cause confusion for an offense and blocking schemes, because again, you drop that end, you bring the backer, this guard, his attention is all on that defensive tackle right there, and this backer ends up coming scot-free right up there for the sack on 4th down for a big play. Another quick note, as you can see, cover 3, what's the weakness in cover 3? The seams. That's why you see right here this wide receiver running clean. Now, he is a little bit outside the seams, a little bit closer to the numbers, but still, you got a curl flat, hook, curl flat here, 3 deep defenders, a third player, and a third player. You see that guy open. Unfortunately, you have a lapse by the guard, and it leads to the big sack, which he could have probably squeezed that. Not probably, he could have squeezed that in there for a big play, a big explosive play. But anyway, those are some quick little football talking points that came up from that play. As you guys know, we like breaking tape down, like breaking stuff down. If you guys want the best breakdowns, tune into the Miller's Edge. You won't find it anywhere else. Again, live on YouTube, you can see all this stuff. If you guys are listening on radio, that's great. But if you guys want to be able to see what we're talking about, check us out at the Miller's Edge on YouTube. We got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we keep on rolling. We got more folks lined up on the phone lines. Try to squeeze some of these press conferences in on this Monday edition. Florida State Prep Day 1, Week 1. We're coming at you live right here on the Miller's Edge, Title 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
Hey, this is Wyatt Fulton from Tide 100.9.
Yeah, it looks like they get to a lot of cover 3 from what I've noticed. But they had a good unit at Nebraska, man. I mean, I'll pull up these numbers. I get it. It's a different team, different personnel, all that stuff. But they were really good statistically last season on defense. So it'll be interesting, man. Definitely be interesting. Deb, what's up? Wait, so you said somebody you played it. You said Batesburg, Leesville, which is actually where K.C. Crosby went to high school at. I remember that. You said they intentionally wet the field, but I mean, they play on the field too. So what's the point of that?
Because we don't. You're 2A high school. You don't have a change of shoes. And you don't have long cleats, so they could have the long spikes to be able to get traction, and the other team did not, which was us.
So they were a bigger school than you?
No, they was 2A school. But if I know, I'm playing this rip, and we had speed everywhere. We were blazing fast.
Mm-hmm.
Slow you down and be slipping balls, and you're prepared by having the right cleats. That's high school too, but if it's pros, nobody cares. So they ship, several pair. Especially with weather, they're going to have longer cleats. Because we used to be able to, the cleats we used to be, they could change them out. You had to change the shoe, just change.
Like the spike to the bottom.
Yeah, screw in there. But I don't anticipate this being a problem.
Yeah. Just probably, wet conditions, typical, but is what it is. But yeah, this defense would be aggressive for sure. The other thing that they've shown a lot is they play a good bit of like bracket coverage, and I fully expect to see that, especially on like Ryan. They like the bracket guys a lot too.
ZipRecruiter, get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
What a beautiful afternoon. The sky mostly sunny. Humidity values are down. The high 84. Tonight, a preview of fall. Mostly clear with the low in the low 60s, around 62. Tomorrow, partly sunny. A few isolated afternoon showers. The high 79. I'm James Spann with the Alabama Weather Network on Tide 100.9. It's 85 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, with our first day of Florida State prep and breakdown right here on the Miller's Edge, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport Experts. Quick reminder, though, Fridays of home game weekend, so not this Friday, but next Friday, we will be doing the show live at 12:25. Make sure you guys come and hang out with us, get game day weekend started the right way. It will be the first home game of the year. I know everybody's going to be rolling into town, looking forward to that. So why don't you come hang out with us? Listen to the show live, enjoy some great food, whether it's pizza, wings, burgers, all that good stuff, Rotel dip, tacos. They've got it all for you. Great drinks. Tipsy Elephant is very popular there. It's right there on the strip, 1225 University Boulevard. You can't miss it. Come hang out, listen to the show, and I'd love to see all our listeners. We did it there last year, had a great time, ran it back, or we are running it back. And really excited about that. I know you guys were asking, hey, we're going to do it again. Yes, we are, and that's where we will be at, again, live at 12:25. So make sure you guys come hang out with us again Friday, our normal show hours. Plus, there still will be open, plenty of food and drinks going around. Make sure you guys drink responsibly, but you guys don't want to miss out, man. It's going to be a great time, another great season.
I know it.
What?
I'm slapping Ellis and all them boys with them Tipsy Elephants last year.
Oh, man, they had the time of their life, man.
Tipsy Elephant was a big hit.
Yeah, no, that's their popular drink that they do, man. So, and I'm sure they might have added some new stuff too. So I'm excited to see. Now, granted, personally, I just drink water. I was drinking just the watery elephant, but everybody that tried the Tipsy Elephant said it was amazing, and obviously it was a big hit. We watched a number of those go around throughout the year last season. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Let's keep on rolling. 205-342-9904. We got Smitty up next. Smitty, welcome in.
What's going on, gentlemen?
What's up, Smitty?
What up, Smitty? What up? What up?
Good. Never told you guys. I was stationed in the Air Force. I was stationed in Charleston for a couple of years in my early 20s, and all I got to say is Orangeburg and Myrtle Beach were good times. That's all I got to say. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, Myrtle Beach. Sure. I don't know about the Berg, man. Orangeburg. I don't know about that.
Hey, I was 22 at the time. 21, 22 is all I got to say.
I would.
He was probably near the college. He was near the
No,
college.
Schematic, yeah, he was at South Carolina State. That's in Orangeburg. So in South Carolina, you go to the black community, they don't say Orangeburg, they say Orangeburg. It's Orangeburg. So it's about an hour from downtown Charleston. But you go up there, it's Bulldog City, baby, South Carolina State.
Yeah.
And so if you like partying and having fun and music, dancing, that's why he was up there at South Carolina State. Them brown babies was up there. That's what he was chasing, them brown babies.
Oh, wow.
Hey, not now. Not now. I'm not getting my Shannon Sharp on now. It ain't me. I'm 46. I'm gone. But here's the thing. but
oh god,
I got an NFL question before I get to Alabama. I know everything defenders like pass rushers. Since the whole media is out here talking about Shador like he's Warren Moon or Doug Williams, what they had to go through. How excited were you guys when you guys watch tape and you see the starting quarterback on the opposition who holds the ball too long and always drifts back in the pocket? How excited that made you guys?
No, man, I know I'm good for about 3 on that game. Shoot. No, I mean, but see, that's his biggest pride. Shador is so talented, man, but his biggest knock, and he did it in college, the drifting. He's always looking to make plays, and I get it. I mean, those guys did not protect to save their life. And he was, behind the 8 ball the entire time, but he's got to learn, man, when you drift like that, I mean, that's a defensive end's dream, man. I mean, like, you just are giving us opportunity after opportunity, and he don't want to throw it away. Oh, man, we would have been licking our chops knowing we were about to play against a guy like that.
Yeah. And,
listen, let me just say, man, when he drifts, to his credit, okay, and I'm a Shador Sanders fan. I think he's ready. I think he can play football. But here's the problem: when you've had 40-something sacks at Colorado, which he had, you get forced to have to improvise so much. Everybody says, "Oh, need to get rid of the ball." We understand that. I listen to these experts on. We understand that. But when your mode is, I got to make a play, right? I got to make something big happen. And I think this is the thing that hurt him, because he holds the ball in hopes that he's going to make somebody miss. He's going to make this enormous play, and it gets him in trouble. And that's hard to come out of until you get into an offense. Just like the other day, he had 5 drives and 5 sacks. I think the offensive line was terrible, right? They couldn't block me, and so he had instant pressure. So he had to resort back to trying to make a play. And he needs to get with an offense that can protect when he gets his reads. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however you want to go, and the ball's out. But I think that just comes with having a better offensive line, having an offense that's really built on timing, which Cleveland's offense is that. That offense is built to, like, you're supposed to have somewhere to go with the football, but his bad habits sometimes get to him. It makes a great play, ESPN highlights, and there's those 5 sacks. So you kind of get the best of both those worlds, Spitty, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you there. And that's why I always tell people, sometimes it's best to sit, just like with Milroe in Seattle. People want him to be a starter. I'm like, man, he got to sit for 2 just to learn and everything. And it's okay to sit and be patient, because if they throw you out there, you ain't ready, you don't look good, they're going to cast you aside. And plus, you can still make good money as a backup as Chase Daniels. But
true.
The question I have about Alabama, one thing I want to bring up, the 3-3-5, isn't that defense susceptible to the run game? Because I remember Alabama, when they last made the playoffs, it was the year Bryce Young was there. And I remember Ole Miss and Cincinnati was running 3-3-5, and they just ran the ball. Because, is that the case of that defense that's susceptible to the run?
Yeah, yes and no. So, I mean, naturally, if you're just in a base 3-3-5 the whole time, you got your guys playing off and they're not really, running stunts or pressures. Yes, it definitely can be susceptible to the run. But the evolution of it is really what's been, helping it be a lot stronger, right? I mean, again, if you pull up Nebraska's numbers, I want to say they were top 10 in stopping the run last season, if not really close to it. And the other thing is, a lot of people that do run 3-3-5, like I was saying earlier, they don't just stick in it the whole time. At least maybe some of those Big 12 teams used to. But nowadays, all it takes is you take that backer who's like the Sam backer in that 3-3-5, and then you just roll him down to play basically like a jack or a wolf. And now you got it's basically a 4-2-5. So, and then the last thing is, if you watch what they like doing out of 3-3-5 stuff, and what makes it appealing for defensive coordinators is it allows you to send players, and it kind of disrupts blocking schemes and offensive line. Sometimes it causes confusion, and you can force some negative plays that way. But in terms of consistently just being physical against the run, I mean, yeah, it's a different way of attacking it. What you're relying on is you're relying on the three guys up front to really try to just, control the line of scrimmage up there. Then the second layer of defenders to be able to run and hit, fill gaps and make plays. And they have to have good recognition, good instincts, and they've got to do it. If not, it can, set yourself up to give up big plays in the running game. So if you do it correctly, it's okay.
Well, here's the thing, Smitty. My son is right and then he's wrong. Okay, he's right about everything he said, except to answer your question. The answer to your question is you're right. It is susceptible to the run, right? And in order to stop the run, you have to be sending guys in all these different gaps, right? Because you're a 3-down man front, three man. So therefore, that means that there's gaps that's acceptable, right? There's cutback lanes that becomes acceptable. You got more guys off the line of scrimmage, which means they're going to be easier targets to be blocked, right? And so those cutback lanes becomes a problem. If you go back and watch, those offenses against this style of defense, watch cutback lanes. Watch how often those backs are cutting back and it's getting up to the second or third level of defenses. So I like it based on what he said, right? Because it also gives offenses problems, because when it comes to the passing game, right? Because you don't know where these blitzes are coming from. That's the problem when it comes for offense, because they run stunts and loops, and all guys are moving and twist up front, looped around the off guys. So it becomes a blocking nightmare for an offensive line. And that's why when you look at, defenses today, they go to this style, either 3-3-5/4-2-5, really kind of the same thing. Because you got a Sam, as he said, like I play, right? I could play off the ball, but I could also walk up and play like a Sam linebacker, which is just a strong side outside linebacker, and be able to play force, right? I could do that. Or I can back off and slide the end over a little bit, and then I play coverage. So this is it's all based on down and distances. So it is a weakness that is the weakness of a 3-3-5 is stopping the run. Because you have to commit guys in gap scheme to stop the run, and then that makes you susceptible over the top. So if you're playing a passing team that's pass happy, it's great, right? You're going to be blitzing guys, sending guys, hitting the quarterback. You're going to get some TFLs because you're in the run game. But if you got a good enough team and a very sharp number 2 pencil offensive coordinator, bro, he going to eat that defensive line, because he's going to have you so off balance that there's going to be so many mistakes. So it's kind of like it can help you, but yet at the same time, it can hurt you. You basically have to say as a defensive coordinator, okay, I'm going to choose my poison this particular game, and it's all based on who I'm playing on the offense. If it's a team that can't throw the football, I'm going to do my thing. If it's a team that throws it a lot, then I'm going to need to back off and play more coverage than Russ and just mix it up based on down and distance. So, yeah, I don't like it just because of the weakness in the run game. But if I'm playing a pass-happy team, a fast-paced team, yes, I want a 3-3-5 in the game. That makes sense.
Oh, and thanks for answering that. And one thing about even Alabama defense, we don't get Tommy Castellanos confused as like some precision passer. So wouldn't it make sense to say, hey, we're going to try our best to take this run away, and if you beat us passing, we'll shake your hand and have a good day. And you had a good game.
Yep. If he can throw for 300, 3 touchdowns, and we lose that way, God bless him. But here's what I'm going to tell you, Smitty. He ain't going to do that. He can't do that. I mean,
He ain't.
so
That's my
listen,
point.
I'm going to make him throw the football. I am going to stop the run. I'm going to make sure every gap is accounted for. I'm going to hit him in the mouth. You come to these little zone reads, I'm telling my guys on the outside, they have quarterback, and then my alley player, I want you to lay the wood. I want the wood laid on this dude. And I'm going to get him in third and long. We got to be good on first down, right? We're going to get them in second long, third and long, become very obvious in the passing game, and then I'm going to turn my guys loose. So, yes, stop the run. If you let them run the football, this is where you're going to have a problem. Now you're going to be guessing, and now his average to below average passing arm strength and passing game can hurt you because now tight ends, backs out of the backfield, those are things that he's completing. But if you keep him in third and long, I take Alabama all day, every day, twice on Sunday with a little bit of brunch, because that's the weakness of his game, if you make him become a true passer.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I know you guys got to get to it, but thanks for taking my call as always. You guys have a good one.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Schmitty.
All right, Schmidt. Thank you, buddy.
Good deal. All right, let's go ahead and hit this next time. We come back. We keep on rolling. I know we're loaded on the phone line, so we'll keep trying to go there. Then hopefully squeeze in a little bit from the press conferences from today right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Support Experts. Quick timeout. We'll be right back. So Nebraska stats from last year: scoring defense, 18 points per game, was good for 13th nationally. Total defense, 11th nationally, averaging 318 per game given up. Rushing defense, top 20 nationally at 101.2 yards, and then passing defense, 216, and that was top 30. And they also had 14 takeaways. So again, defensively, man, they did a really nice job. Now, again, that was, Coach White's previous team, different players, different, opponents, all that good stuff. But in terms of what this defense is capable of doing, they can do about everything you needed to do. But again, that's because it's not just a base 3-3-5, as you guys see. And I'm sorry, I'm just clicking through here. It's just because copyright stuff. They show a lot of 4 down fronts, as you see right here, right? So they mix it up. But his unit played hard, man. They're a tough group last year. Now they're back to more of a true 3-3-5 look. We'll see what they end up getting to. Actually, just playing it out, bringing 3, which they'll do that. They've shown that. They'll play it out traditionally, bring 3, drop 8, try to create that net, which some people would like to do. Now, when it comes to the 3-3-5 and that type of philosophy, just playing it safe, dropping 8 a whole bunch, I hate that. I want to get after the quarterback. If we are going to get cute and play 3-3-5, I want to see like what they do a little bit more of and really attack gaps, bring guys from different spots, penetrate and be aggressive, which is what they do. And I expect Florida State to do, especially knowing that, they're going against quarterback side who's getting his first start. Fully expect them to be aggressive. But I do know then when they get to third down, as you guys just saw, and I watched an interview with Tony White. He talked about that, really dialing things up on third down. They'll get to some simulated pressures, throw some different looks at you. Here they bring 5. They're playing cover 1, which is man coverage with the safety over the top. You see this backer's trying to get to his back. He's man on him. And really nice throw. So they'll mix it up. So on third down, just see a little bit of everything. I've seen them drop 8, playing it safe. I've seen them bring 5 like they just did, play some cover 1, run some simulated stuff. They really run a bunch of stuff. Here you're back on first down, a true 3-3 look, but you look how they're playing. They're aggressive in it. And that's what I was talking about in terms of if you are going to play it, you have to do it a certain way. You don't want to be playing on, too many different levels, creating way too many levels, right? Opening up those gaps and those cutbacks like my dad said. That's why you see that they're diagnosed as run, they're attacking, they're filling those gaps. And that's what allows you to not be as susceptible. So that's what I was talking about when Smitty was asking about that. It is susceptible to the run, but when you play it aggressively like that and you can plug and attack, it helps kind of to limit some of those vulnerabilities. Same thing. You see him attacking. They don't typically just sit and read in those defenses. And welcome back into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, officially week 1 of the season for Alabama as they prepare to travel down to Tallahassee, where they probably will experience some wet, nasty conditions. We talked a little bit about that with Pat earlier, but nonetheless, man, we are fired up. We're throwing it all at you. We're going through our preview. We broke down the depth chart, talked about the scheme that we're expecting to see both offensively and defensively. We'll continue to dive into all this throughout the week. And then obviously Friday, man, we'll really give our final, put a bow on everything, give our final predictions. Plus we got some stuff lined up throughout the week and talk to some other people as well. So make sure you guys stay on the lookout for that. All our people in our YouTube chat, we got a whole bunch of people watching right now, man. If you haven't already, man, drop a like on the stream. That always helps us out. Subscribe if you haven't already. Again, we will be doing this every single day, Monday through Friday, as we do our show. Plus, might even hop on here in the evening, man, and do a little bit of a Miller's Edge extra like we used to do as well. So the more you guys like, comment, all that stuff, man, the more we can start throwing at you. And so make sure you guys get involved with all that. Stay up to date. Also on social media at the Miller's Edge. Make sure you don't miss out on anything there as well. All right. It's already 42, man. We might have to we got so many callers. I'm trying to get to everybody getting this. Let's do this. I guess we might just have to put on hold some of these conversations.
I think we should stay with the phone calls and then talking Tuesdays. You know, when the coaches are talking, you can do all that because they're going to be talking much more about the game and all that.
Well, no, they spoke to them. No, I know they spoke to me today, so I just was going to try to get to it while it was fresh. But you're right. We'll just keep rolling with the calls, and then tomorrow we'll hear and we'll break it down. We'll have more time to break it down. So let's keep it rolling. 205-342-9904. We got JR up next. JR, welcome in.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hey, JR, what's going on?
Good afternoon, JR.
I'm doing good. Hey, Roy. I'm Corey. I'm sorry. I'm glad to hear you. Last time I was on the air with you, I didn't even know it was you were there. I mean, I'm sorry about that. Didn't acknowledge it. I had a chance to talk with you, but I'm glad to talk with you.
Likewise, my friend.
Anyway.
Likewise.
Great. Yeah, you were talking about the weather maybe being an issue this weekend, and you probably already discussed a lot of what I'm about to ask, but what is the most affected part of the game? What is most affected by that weather change in the as far as is it offense, defense, special teams? What is it?
I would say offense and special teams without it. No, I'd say offense and special teams. Man.
I think defense has. Now that's why we like this because we don't agree on nothing. Listen, let me just say this.
Tell me why you think. Tell me why you think defense, please. I'm really curious.
Let me make sure I understood his question because there was a little bit of delay. You saying which side of the ball is affected by the weather the most? Is that correct?
Yeah. What part of the game is most affected by the weather? Whether it be offense, defense, or even special teams? You want to throw that in?
That's offense and special teams easily, man. How do you even come up with defense? Yeah. Explain that, please.
Well, my point of defense, is this. You know that.
Well, I kind of agree with you on defense because
it's kind of hard as a defensive player because offense they know where they're going, right? When you got a slippery surface and you have to read and react, and you got bad footing, bad weather, slipping with the cleats. That's hard. I mean, it slows you down. You can't play the game as fast and as furious as a defender when the weather is bad. But on the flip of offense, I don't even special teams don't really, in my opinion, is not even affected that much. But maybe just catching the ball if it's wet.
Bro,
if it's wet weather.
Kicking, returning punt.
I said catching the ball. That's it, not kicking.
And kicking. Yes, kicking, vision, the wind. What are you talking about? Wet ball, the snapper getting the holder getting the snap. What are you talking about? Kick it.
No.
Bro, that's a big deal.
No.
You're tripping on that one, man.
It's really not. So I'm saying defense, and I think it's just harder for a defensive player because it slows you down. You can't be as aggressive in your footwork, especially when you got to change directions and things are just so, depends on how you change direction, how fast you can go on a pass rush. Can you get that shoulder down and rip around the corner without losing your footing? So to me, it affects the defense a lot more just because offensive players know where they're going with the football. They know, they know their routes. And to me, it becomes a lot easier. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, let me answer because I respectfully disagree with that because he said who is the most affected. Not everybody is affected. We can all agree on that. And you're right. And I do respect what you're saying in your answer about your reaction. Defense is reactionary, right? You're playing off of them. And you're right. If you got to make a cut, right? Because that offensive guy knows where he's going. He knows where he's running his route. I get what you're saying to an extent. But in terms of most affected, number one, special teams is a great point that JR brought up because fielding punts, you deal with a lot more muffed punts because it's hard to catch a wet football. Rain's getting in your eyes when you're trying to see the football. That can be a problem. Special teams, whether you realize it or not, kicking a football that's wet definitely is an issue. Not to mention the holder has to get the wet.
They keep the ball dry. They keep balls dry.
They try to. Yes, they try to, but at the same time,
they cover the balls up. They keep them dry. I'm telling you, it's not as effective as you think. Maybe at high school, but this level of football, they are very peculiar when it comes to football.
No, they do what they can.
They're not as wet like you think. That's what I'm saying. But when you talk about the surface, that's a whole nother different thing.
You still got to snap the ball when it's on the wet grass. When you snap, it does get wet again. But you're right. They do what they can to try to keep it. But then offensively, to me, I'm thinking, bro, the whole game plan typically has to take a shift because if it's monsoon and it's raining too hard, you already know the passing game is greatly affected. So then you go to the running game, which hopefully you can establish that. But then you're worried about your back slipping. You're worried about the backs losing the football. Think about how many fumbles we see when it's raining outside and defense is it's like fumbles galore. Defense is stacking and padding the stat sheet in terms of the turnovers that they're forcing. So respectfully, I'm going offense and special teams 100%.
I'm going to. I'm stunned. You didn't convince me.
No, I love it.
I'm
not going to lie. We've been agreeing too much. So I'm glad you took a different stance. Thank you.
Just like father and son.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
What do you think?
I can't just. Well, you know what? I agree with you that the offense knows where they're going and the defense does not. So yes, that gives them the advantage in that point as far as it goes. But catching the ball and even accurately throwing the ball, whether it be the wet or the wind or whatever, those are effective as far as on the offensive side. And yet, in the defense, like you said, they don't know where the play is going, so they're kind of like have to stand still a little bit longer before they make their quick moves. And usually the defenses are faster than the offense, as far as on the line of scrimmage and such as that. But I just feel like that maybe the offense has a little bit of an edge in these conditions.
They do.
But still, it weighs out about it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, listen,
there's a lot of
listen, brother. Listen to this. I played in Giant Stadium, right, where weather is always, especially winter, not so much rain, but snow and ice and wind. And I'm just going to tell you, it was hard. Yeah. And here's the thing with the offense. Yeah, you can talk about the wet ball and all this, but because they know where they're going, those little short dig routes, those little short over routes, they're so much easier to complete them just because it slows the defender down. And that's why I said advantage offense, because we don't know where they're going. They do. And we don't have the footing, or we're not moving as fast, right? Because we're scared we're going to fall down. So you're very methodical when it comes to change of direction, even in tackling. If you got a guy in the open field, when you used to run and have that right angle, right, inside out, you're almost half speed trying to get out there because you know you can't stop on a dime. You're going to go sliding. So all of that affects the defender. That's all I'm saying. It makes it much more difficult.
That's fair. That's fair.
Well, I agree with that point, but I also agree with you as well, Christian. The offense is affected in a lot of different ways as well. And who gets it worse? Who knows? We'll just find out.
True.
We'll find out. Hopefully the weather will pan out to be okay, which I think so.
Real quick, what do you think on penalties? Is it worse or better when it's wet, messy? I mean, do they throw more flags, or do they give them a little more leniency on penalties?
I mean, I don't think it happens really. I mean, because the game slows down.
Doesn't matter.
So I don't think it matters at all. Penalty. You're not running routes full speed. You're not going to have the PIs like you normally have. It just makes the game sloppy. Holding, you might have some holding, but other than that, I think it's about the same.
They may be just holding on so they don't fall down. You see?
Yeah, probably, but probably, yeah.
Well, anyway, I appreciate very much y'all's input, and it was fun talking with you, Corey. And I look forward to doing it again.
All right, God bless
and
you.
Roll Tide. And,
Yes,
I'll give you a prediction later this week.
Roll Tide.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Roll Tide.
Prediction
Good deal.
Friday, baby. Roll
That's
Tide.
right. All right, we got to hit this last timeout. We come back. We wrap things up right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. All right. How many? I think we're at like 32 likes, man. Let's see if we can get to 40 before we get out of here, man. See if we can get 40 likes. If you guys haven't already, man, just click that like button. Let's get 40 likes on this video. It's day one of week one, man. Let's get to 40 likes on here. We got 39 people in here. Nah, I don't work like that. If anything, if you hit it after you like it, you're unliking it. So you're just going to be liking it and unliking it. But let's see if we can get 40 before we get out of here. We got 40 people in here. We got 32 likes. We can get 40 likes, man. Let's get 8 more likes. Come on, guys. If you haven't liked it already, just do that. It's really just for the algorithm. It's not like anything crazy happens.
I can't believe Smitty with Shannon Sharp. That was pretty fun to me.
Oh God, poor Shannon. Hey, I mean, you know Shannon, right? I mean, we know Sterling Shannon. Maybe sure. It's now that Shannon's not on ESPN. Maybe he wants to join the Miller's Edge, man. Shoot him a text. Tell him we'll take him over here.
Nah, we don't want. No. He probably don't want to come to that 1334 church on.
Oh wait, yeah.
We want some of that anointing oil to get on his old bald head.
Oh,
lay some hands on him. And he's got that spirit of freaky dick you got to get off him. He done got another lawsuit with these women. We got to rebuke that in the name of Jesus. Well, he didn't stop all that foolishness. Yeah. 6 years old. What's up, CJ?
Sorry, he just walked in here with all these dogs going crazy and stuff. Oh,
get you a kennel.
Well, I have it. I normally have him gated off, but I can say, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing.
Before treatment, your doctor should.
We got a few minutes. I think Ellis was on here. We'll see if we can squeeze him. I wanted to get to this.
I'm looking at some of the.
I mean, like, see, this is no, but see, this wasn't happening until I don't know what he's doing.
Let's kick him out.
Via radio.com.
Candidates for your roles, it seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right?
Trying to find this piece on this Mike Norvell thing. What is all right?
Mike Norvell was the hottest thing going a few years ago as a coach. Now he's almost a zero.
He fell off now.
Thanks, Mike. I'm trying to figure out if I'm at the right hotel. I've been sitting here for this whole show, and I ain't seen nobody I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great challenge. You look at Alabama, what they do offensively. You know, they got a very experienced offensive line, big, strong, powerful. You know, you look at how they utilize the tight end position and creating different surfaces, movements. You know, all the window dressing to really be able to play downhill, and then you know they're going to push the ball vertically down the field. I think it's probably one of the best receiving corps you know in the country. You know, some very talented players that will line big.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
Five more likes to go. And welcome back into this Monday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. To wrap things up real quick, here is Florida State head coach Mike Norvell talking about Alabama ahead of the Week 1 matchup.
After watching Tony's group throughout the spring and now the preseason, how intrigued are you to see him against a different opponent, especially somebody as talented and physical as Alabama?
Yeah, I mean it's going to be a great challenge. You look at Alabama, what they do offensively. You know, they got a very experienced offensive line, big, strong, powerful. You know, you look at how they utilize the tight end position and creating different surfaces, movements. You know, all the window dressing to really be able to play downhill, and then you know they're going to push the ball vertically down the field. I think it's probably one of the best receiving corps you know in the country. You know, some very talented players that will align all over the place. So you've got to be locked in on you know, matchups. You got to be locked in on leverages, understanding what's your job, what's your task, and what you're trying to take away, and you got to be aggressive. I mean, this is a team that you know if you don't bring it every snap, I mean, they absolutely will expose you. And so, you know, I'm really looking forward to our defense. You've seen them, you know, be able to transition from all the things we've worked in practice, and you know, for that to carry over into the game. And you know, it's both sides. You got two new coordinators on the offensive defense side of the ball, and you know, it's I think they've done a great job of working together. You know, as they've competed against each other, you know, in fall camp, and you know, now as we transition or into game week, and you know, the preparation that's been you invested, and to be able to challenge each other, try to you know expose areas you know against each other that you know I think has made us better through the process and through that competition. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to both sides of the ball getting to go and show it on game day.
So there you have it. That was head coach Florida State Mike Norvell talking a little bit about Alabama ahead of their Week 1 matchup. We got to go ahead and wrap things up here on this Monday edition. Hope you guys enjoyed it again. We took a preview at Florida State, this matchup, watched a little bit of tape. We got some, you know, ideas on what we can expect schematically, because you know that's what we like to do. We'd like to talk the game of football, break it down in that capacity. And we're going to continue to do that throughout the week. We got a lot planned for you, so make sure you guys stay up to date. Subscribe on YouTube, like the video, all that good stuff. Follow us on all social media platforms. Check us out here, Tide 100.9 on the radio station, all that good stuff, because we got plenty of heat coming at you. And if you like true breakdowns of folks with experience talking about the game unlike any other, man, you know where to find it, right here on the Miller's Edge, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. We'll see you guys tomorrow in 22 hours. Do it all over again. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC.